Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. So this is going to be a love and spirituality reading for air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And as always, I will be doing an extended video to go along with this one. So if this reading resonates, then the link to the more in-depth video will be in the description box down below. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is talk about your present energy and any advice or guidance you may need for the present moment. And we're also going to talk about the upcoming month, so any future predictions that I see, anything that you need to avoid in the month of September and things of that sort. And I do have to remind everyone that tarot is timeless, so even though this reading is for September 2020, if you come across this reading after that, it can still apply to you. It'll just be applied to the upcoming month of, whenever you see this video. So let's go ahead and get into it, air signs. So for your present energy, we have the Three of Cups, and then we have the Four of Wands, and both of them are in the reverse. Okay, so the Four of Wands in reverse is like a feeling of being at home or feeling at home, but not in a good way. It's like when you're in your comfort zone for far too long and now you're starting to get anxious. So there's something that you've been partaking in for a long time that at one point was making you feel comforted, and now you feel anxious because that's basically your soul's way of telling you that you've been in this comfort zone for too long, and now your soul wants to expand and have different experiences. So you're kind of being pushed out of this cycle or out of this space that you've been in. And so for some of you, this is physically moving, like you're physically moving out of a home, like you've basically outgrown the space and it's time for you to go. For some of you, it's a connection that is time for you to let go of. For some of you, it's habits, a way of thinking and things of that sort that it's time to let go of. And I feel like this is very similar to last month's reading, if I'm not mistaken, but I feel like you're further along now. Like I feel like these messages are similar, but the energy is different. Like before, you were more so in the thick of it, like you were in the part of it where you were really struggling and you knew you had to make a change, but it was very difficult. But now it's like I feel like you're edging more so towards the end of it, where you are actually about to take that leap of faith and make that change. So that's a positive thing. But with the Three of Cups being here in the reverse, some of you are still having a bit of a problem with this transition or making this change. Like you are still clinging in some way to this past cycle or to whatever this is, because again, this was something that felt like home to you, whatever this is, whether it be a relationship or whether it be an actual home or a place that you've lived. It's something that felt like home to you, and so nobody really wants to leave home, but sometimes it's necessary in order for you to grow and in order for you to expand. And like I said, that anxious feeling or even that overwhelming feeling of just boredom and like I feel stagnant, that feeling is your soul's way of saying you need expansion. Like your soul comes here to expand specifically. So therefore, whenever you are not expanding and there's no longer any lessons for you to learn in the space that you're in, that's when you'll get that anxious feeling to get up and go, or you'll get this feeling of I'm just bored with life and I just need a drastic change. Like when you just have that feeling like I need to do something new and exciting in my life, like I just feel completely and totally like stagnant, that's your soul's way of saying expansion is needed. So like I said, though, some of you are having a hard time with it because nobody actually wants to leave home. So for some of you, there's a decision that you have to make in reference to leaving the space, and you're distracting yourself from making the decision. So for example, if you have to make the decision on where to move to, like you are needing to move out of your home and you're needing to move somewhere else, you are possibly procrastinating from finding the new place to live. Or if you know that there's a connection in your life that you need to break free from, it's like you're putting it off. You are trying to ignore the fact that you have to make this decision. You're trying to act like everything's normal, but I feel like every time you ignore reality and you try to act like things are normal or act like things are good, it's like your anxiety just starts to rev up and you're just constantly reminded of why you need to leave this space. So my advice for that, because I'm also someone who's not comfortable with change, my advice for that is to basically get the change over as quickly as you can, or make the transition as quickly as you can, so that you can adjust to your new normal. And that's how I've always dealt with change. Like when I moved out of my hometown and moved down south, I was extremely nervous to do so because I hate change. So what I did was basically not overthink it, and I just got it done. And I'm just like, the quicker I go and feel feel the discomfort, the quicker I can get used to my new normal, because you'll come to find that you will adjust to your new normal quite quickly. It's just the build up to it, the build up of anticipating the transition, that's actually what's difficult. So for those of you who are, not comfortable with change, you may want to take that into consideration, not thinking too much about it, getting it done so that you can adjust. It's kind of like when you go to like a new school or you go to a new job and you just feel out of sorts and you feel out of place, and then like within a couple of weeks suddenly you're settled in and you're like, okay, like I don't even remember what that old school, that old job was like, because this is my new normal and now I am comfortable. So yeah, may want to take that into consideration for those of you who are, just having a hard time with this. I do also think that something that is holding some of you back also is this feeling that you failed in some way, or you are thinking about what should have been or what could have been, and it's important for you to just really stay grounded and really stay rooted in the present moment and not think so much about the past and what happened and what could have been and it wasn't supposed to be like this. Yeah, it's like needing to stay grounded in the present moment and to really stay grounded in reality. Like, okay, I wish it would have went like this, but the reality is that it ended up being like this. Or I wish I could have maintained whatever this was. Like I wish it could have lasted forever, but it could not, because I have to expand. And so I'm facing the reality of the present moment, and I am knowing and understanding that the universe has something much better for me waiting, So it's like basically giving yourself somewhat of a reality check, but a compassionate reality check. Like, don't just look at it like, all right, well, that's over. Who cares? Move on. Like, don't talk to yourself like that. That's not going to help. It's more so like, just like I said, staying really grounded in the present moment and telling yourself, okay, this hurts. I don't want to have to let this go. I was comfortable in this. I wish I could have stayed in this. I wish things could have worked out, but I know that something better is waiting for me. I know that my soul has the desire to expand. So that's what I'm going to do. So just a few tips, because like I said, I am someone who is very uncomfortable with change. So I know exactly how that is to continue to cling to it. Let me see what else. Okay, so I think that's it for that. We're going to move on to your outside energy, which is the energy of someone who is presently affecting you the most. So it could be like a friend, it could be a family member, it could be a boss, just anyone outside of you who is affecting you. So just take it as it resonates. All right, so we have the Strength card in reverse, and then we have the Nine of Cups in the upright. So basically, this is a person who is struggling with something, and they are having a very hard time overcoming something very challenging in their life, but they're not showing it. I'm seeing here that they're putting on a very brave face, and you probably would never know that they're actually going through anything or that they're struggling, because they are just a very prideful person and they don't like to tell people that they are struggling. So if you're wondering why this person is pulling back from you or withdrawing a little bit, it has nothing really to do with you. It has something to do with what they're going through in their own life. It's like their own personal struggle that they're going through. For some of you, this person is going through a financial struggle, and they're trying to basically hide that from not just you, but from other people. It's like a pride thing. Like they don't have it together. Their life is not together behind the scenes, even though it looks like it is in front of the scenes. So yeah, it's not personal if there's someone in your present moment or in the present moment that is pulling back from you and it's affecting you deeply. It's not personal. I just feel like this person, like I said, has a lot of pride. They don't like to ask for help, even when they probably should ask for help. And unfortunately, they also don't communicate when they're going through something. So they don't effectively tell people, I'm going through something, so I'm going to have to fall back a little bit. They just start to kind of fall back, And so then that could get your mind racing, especially if you're someone who overthinks. That could get your mind racing and thinking, okay, what did I do wrong? Or is there something wrong here? And I feel like, no, there's nothing really wrong, or you didn't do anything wrong. This person just unfortunately doesn't communicate well, and they are going through something, even though they are putting on a brave face. I'm going to pull one more card to see if there's any other messages about that. And I'm not saying that this person gets a pass necessarily, because I do feel like they do need to learn how to, communicate when, things are not going well. Like they can't expect you to just read their mind. Of course, you're going to start to think the worst if someone's pulling back from you. So I'm not giving them a pass. It's just more like, an explanation. It's not an excuse. It's an explanation. Let me pull one more. Yeah, the Sun card. Yeah, this person, wow, that's okay. Yeah, The Sun card in reverse, very depressing energy. So they seem to be in a deep depression about whatever is going on behind the scenes. For some of them, it literally is finances, but for others of them, it's just something going on in their life outside of you that's making them extremely depressed. With the Seven of Swords being here, like I said, they're hiding it. They're not wanting anyone to know. They're being just kind of deceitful, but not deceitful in like a malicious way. It's just that they just don't want anyone to know that they are struggling. And like I said, it's unfortunate because I feel like they could use some help, because this is heavy energy that they're in, but I don't think that they would allow anyone to help them because they don't even want anyone to really know what's going on. So yeah, I feel like the advice would be to not try to force your way in, or to try to force help onto them, or try to force them to communicate. I feel like they won't. I feel like even if you come to them like, hey, I just feel like something is wrong, can we talk about it? I feel like they will deny it, and they don't want to talk about it. Pull one more. Judgment card. Yeah, this person definitely fears. It's weird. It's like they fear being judged, even though you wouldn't judge them and other people in their life wouldn't judge them. They feel like they're being judged whenever they reach out for help, or whenever they talk about whatever they're going through. It's like an internal thing where they feel like they're being judged. It's a pride thing is what I'm seeing. So yeah, I don't think it's anything personal. And I don't think it's anything you could really do to help, but just kind of give them space. Give them space to get themselves together. I feel like they're trying to sort their lives out right now. I feel like they're trying to figure out what their top priorities are at this moment. And that's why your connection seems to be at a standstill in some way, shape, or form, or you feel like they are pulling back from you, is what I am seeing. But yeah, don't let your mind like start to create like this big scenario where they hate you, or like you did something wrong, or all those things our mind can do when someone's not being clear to us. Obviously we start to fill in the blanks, but yeah, just try your best not to let your mind kind of get carried away, because I feel like it's not personal. This person is going through whatever they're going through, and they need some time and some space. So now let's look at your future predictions. Let's look at the month of September. So we have the 10 of Wands and the 9 of Swords in the reverse. Okay, finally, some good news for the month of September, because air signs, we've been struggling a lot. So like our readings have been very struggly. So finally, some good news for September. The 10 of Wands in reverse means dropping a burden, dropping like a heavy load that you've been carrying. I feel like this has a lot to do with an internal burden that you've been carrying, like a lot of intrusive thoughts, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of fear, a lot of worry. It's like finally laying that to rest. Like that's going to be put to rest in the month of September, finally, because air signs have really, really been going through it. I feel like it's mostly because of the cycle that you've been in. Like just the past cycle has been extremely challenging and difficult, and a lot of your triggers have been set off in this past cycle. So some of you have been very like hyper vigilant, constantly like feeling like you're in fear, or feeling like you're in danger in some way, simply because of your triggers and certain buttons that have been pushed in this past cycle. And I feel like finally you're going to get some peace of mind. You're going to be able to basically rest your mind, rest your body. Like some of you haven't been able to sleep well in a very long time, and I'm seeing in September you getting a lot of much needed rest. So that is a very good thing, and I feel like it has a lot to do with this transition. I feel like because you're about to take this leap of faith and transition out of this cycle that you've been in, it's like you're gonna feel this relief. I'm telling you, it's like you're afraid of this transition and you are clinging to this past cycle, but you don't understand fully how much relief you're going to feel once you move into this new stage, and that's obviously common. That's a human thing. We always fear the unknown until the unknown becomes known to us, and we're like, okay, well, I really had nothing to be afraid of. Like I could have been did this, I should have been let this go, or I should have been stepped into this new stage. So yeah, you're going to feel this sense of peace and this sense of relief in the month of September that you have not experienced in a very long time. I feel like this month is going to be definitely a month of rest for you. Like I don't see September being a month and I'm shuffling my cards in the background if you can hear it, but I don't think September is going to be a month where you're like making all these moves and doing all these things. I feel like September is going to be a rest month for you, but it's just much needed. It's much needed. Let me pull one more. Yeah, you're going to adjust to this new cycle. You're going to adjust to this new normal very quickly. is what I'm seeing. It's almost going to be like that past cycle just kind of falls away from you. Pull one more. Yeah, I feel like in this past cycle, what I'm hearing with this 10 of Wands is that it was so difficult because you were carrying not only your own burdens but other people's as well. It's like you were taking on far too much weight. You were carrying too much of a heavy load and no one was helping you. So whoever you were involved with in this past cycle, or whoever was around you, I feel like they weren't taking the weight or the burden off of you. I feel like they were putting more on you. And so it's like now in the month of September, you've put all that to rest. And I feel like in September you're going to come to find that a lot of the burdens you were carrying weren't even your own. Like, I feel like your load or your baggage isn't as heavy as you think it is. It just seemed heavy because you've been carrying other people's as well. So when you put that down, you're going to feel a million times lighter, and your energy is just going to feel much lighter as well. Your headspace is going to be more clear, and you're just going to be able to rest, it looks like. Pull one more. I also feel like another reason why in this past cycle you were so drained is because you put so much energy into whatever the past cycle was, that you were thinking that you can't possibly walk away from it until you get a positive return on what you put into it, right? And so you were actually draining yourself by continuing to feed it because you were just waiting for that positive energy to return to you. Like, everything you put into it, you're like, hell no, I'm not walking away from this because I put money into this. I need to get my happily ever after out of this, you know? And it could be different for different people. This could have been a job that you were at for a long time and you were waiting for things to get better because you were putting so much energy in it, you put so many hours in, or a connection that you were in for a long time and you gave so much of your time and your energy that you're like, no, I want like my happily ever after with whoever this person is. Or like an actual house, like maybe you've lived in an apartment for a long time or a house and you've put a lot of money into the home and fixing things and you put a lot of time and energy into it, and now you have to leave and you're like, I wanted this to be the place that I stayed in for a long time. You know, I didn't want to leave. I put so much money and energy into this. So when we put a lot of energy into something, we almost feel like we have to keep feeding it because we feel like, I don't want this to be a regret or a waste of time. But what we don't see or what we don't realize is that we're just wasting more time by feeding something that will not give us a positive return. We're going to get our return back. Like, whatever you invested in, you are going to get that back. It just may not be in the form of what you think it looks like you think that the return that you're deserving of is going to be in that situation, you know, but sometimes you have to leave the situation in order for that energy that you put in to come right back to you. And I feel like that's what's happening here. It's like all that energy and time and effort that you put in, hoping for a positive outcome, that positive outcome is coming for you. It's just not in the same way that you would have thought. So that's what I see happening for you in the month of September. All your efforts kind of coming right back to you in a way that, you know, you don't really expect. Let me pull one more. Yeah, it's like your mind is just being completely cleared and being completely freed up. It's like you've had to make a lot of tough or difficult decisions that have been very painful for you. And I feel like the month of September, your energy is so freed up that you don't have to make many difficult decisions. It just seems like a rest month to you. Like the difficult decisions have been made. You've transitioned into this new stage. And now all you have to do is settle into that new stage and rest and relax your mind. So very positive for the month of September. So let's look at your outside energy for September. This is going to be a person or people who are going to affect you the most in September. It could be like a romantic connection. It could be a family member. It could be friends. Just, you know, take it as it resonates. So we have the Star card and we have the Queen of Cups. So very positive cards. Once again, I'm just seeing September being a very positive month for you. So it looks like the person who's affecting you the most in the month of September is someone who you're going to be healing a connection with. So this is someone who could have had to, you know, fall back a little bit from you. You had to fall back from them. And it looks like you are now reconciling and you are healing the connection. Now, this could be the same person that I was talking about earlier who needs to get their stuff together. It could be them, but it could be someone completely different. It's going to be different for different people. But like I said, this is someone who has a lot of love for you and you have a lot of love for them, and it's real love. It's not like someone who makes you question how you feel, or how they feel about you, or someone who there's like this toxic thing going on. It's like this is real love, this is a real connection, but there may have been like a bump in the road, or like some slight what's the word for it? Like a slight hiccup in your connection, where you both had to take a step back or take a breather from each other. But I feel like the connection is being, like I said, it's being healed, because I feel like both people, while there was a separation, they both had something that they needed to work out on their own, or they needed to heal on their own, something in their life that they needed to focus on individually. And now it's like both people have it together. They've worked out whatever they needed to work out individually, and so now they can come together and have a healthy bond. And I feel like that's what's happening with you and this other person in the month of September. And again, I don't know if it's the same person who kind of, fell back because, they're too prideful to ask for help. This could be somebody completely different. But all I do know is that I see a very pure love here, and I see like a very just a very innocent sort of connection here. Like the love that you have for each other seems very pure, it seems very innocent, it seems very raw. I also do feel like the star card talks about, or what I'm seeing in the star card is spilling of emotions, or articulating your emotions, verbalizing them. There we go. So I feel like if you were kind of in the dark, or there was any confusion, I feel like that's going to be cleared up in the month of September. Like maybe neither of you communicated well with each other, so both of you have some sort of misunderstanding or miscommunication, and then you parted ways. It's like having a conversation and kind of addressing what happened, what went wrong, and having a very, like I said, raw, real conversation, very open, to the point where you are going to be able to rebuild, the trust with each other. So yeah, I just see healing. I definitely see healing with a connection and some sort of reconciliation. And it doesn't have to be romantic. Like I said, this could be a friend, this could be a family member that you disconnected with. This could even be like a child, like if you're a parent and you and your child have been, not speaking. So, just take it as it resonates. But let me pull one more. I'm just seeing a lot of understanding through communication. Pull one more. Yeah, actually, I'm going to stop here. So I pulled two more, the Emperor card. So that talks about letting your guard down, not being so prideful, and being able to communicate or express, what's on your heart and what's on your mind. But I'm going to stop there because this reading is already at 22 minutes. So I'm going to stop there. We're going to finish this in the extended video. So I will leave the link to that in the description box down below. Thank you guys for watching. And again, if you want to see more in-depth videos, you can click the link in the description box, and it will take you to the extended.